Greetings, this is Erodo Jumbo. In this tutorial, PHP we connect to a MySQL database to query data. This is brought to you from the jumboshop.com Learning PHP Course and Learning Python course. I have PHP My Admin here, so you can see I'm using a MySQL database. This is the table structure. I just have SID, which is the ID. It's an integer. It's auto-incrementing, that means it's a primary key. I have a name field, and that's simply just text. And I have an age, it's only going to be 3, the length's going to be 3, it's an integer because ages are, for humans anyways, this can't be more than 3 characters input. And then we go to the Browse tab here. I put some sample data here, so there's 3 of them. The one to pay attention to with this one here, because it has an apostrophe or a single quote, I'll explain that later when we do the SQL injection part. So I'm going to be using the MySQL extension for PHP via the procedural method. The reason I'm using the procedural method is because later on when we use Python, C, or Rust, the procedural method is very similar, so it'll be easy to continue. So let's begin. I'll be using Guinea as the IDE here. So first I'll zoom in. So I'll be able to see a little bit easier. And as I said before, this is brought to you by the jumboshop.com Learning PHP course. It inspired this tutorial. So once you learn that course, you'll be able to follow along yourself, or if you want, I can write an update course or a book for the future. Okay, so first thing I'll do is in Guinea there is some templates like PHP and all that, but okay, so I'll just use that default PHP. I'm going to save it as sql.php. Again, I have to zoom in. Don't really need any of this stuff here, so I'll delete all this. Just need the PHP tag. In modern PHP, you don't need to do the closing tag, but I'll just do that just for historical reasons. So the first thing we need to do is to connect to database. So we'll create a variable. I'll just call it con, just because it's easy. And the procedure method, we use the MySQLi or improved. Okay, for my database, the server is localhost. The username is tutorial, and the database password is tutpass, and the database I want to connect to is called tutorial. So we use an if statement. So that means if it's not connected to the database, what we do then is we die, basically we quit. So just a db connection error, and we append whatever the error is. It's another procedural function. Okay, so I'm going to type everything on one line here. So this will be the query database. So what this means is that if it doesn't die on line 7, we can continue. So create another variable called result. I'll use another improved function, query. You always need to put the MySQL connection for most of the MySQL improved extension. So I'll select SID, name, age from students. That's the table name. Okay, so if there's something, I'll use, I want to, because remember there were 3 rows, so I'll fetch each individual row. I'll use another MySQL improved function called fetch, and I'll fetch an array. Array means each row will be fetched as an array. And the result, and what I want is, the type I want is, I want it to come back an associative. Associative array means that it will have the actual names. That's what I want. Just to make this a little prettier. Then I'll just echo it out. So the first one is obviously the student ID, etc., etc. But I'm going to make it a little bit simpler. I will just echo out the row, its ID. I'll put a comma. The name. Comma, the age. Now, just not to confuse you, I'll convert all these to double quotes. Oh no, I can't use double quotes because I'm using, oh actually I could use double quotes, so because I'm using the squiggly bracket, so I can use double quotes, then that's what I'll do. Now if I do this, everything will be on one line, so I'll use the escape character for new line character, and that's it. So in Guinea here, I will compile. Says there's an error on line 14. What do I do here? Oh, I forgot to close that off. Yeah, that looks fine now. Compile it again. Yeah, so there's no, then we can run it. And you can see here, you see John, Jane, and Darcy, just comma separated. The same results we got in the PHP MyAdmin, the 3 rows. You can find the full article at rujambo.com php-database-mysqli-procedural-select-statement. As you can see here, these are the examples of the functions we used. If you want the snippet of code, it's here. And we're going to do the escape string. If you want to use escape string, that is if you have data you can't trust, you should use this. In my case, I didn't escape it because it was very simple. It was hard-coded, and I wasn't trusting user input or anything like that. But if you're worried about SQL injections, you should use the MySQL escape string, and you should obviously trust, you should validate the data. I explain all that here. It's very important. And here's some screenshots of what we've done so far today. Here's the output, and this is a video you're watching right now. Be sure to subscribe for more videos like this if you enjoy this. And also I do have an online course for PHP. More on this in a few seconds. And also for learning Python. And if you prefer book format, there's an ebook. Right now it's available on Amazon, in the future available in more places. Same with if you want to learn Python. For the interactive versions, I'll explain that in a few seconds. And here are the links. You can simply just go to this article or this video you're watching, look at the description, the links will be there as well. Now it's a Learning PHP course. Until the end of 2024, you can get it for 20% off using the promo code SCHOOL. And here it's interactive. You don't need to install PHP on an IDE. Everything we provided for you. Here's an example. This is what it looks like. You see you have the ID here. Type in the code and click compile. Everything's there for you. Pretty straightforward. Same with Python. You don't need to install Python or an IDE. You simply just go in and there'll be an IDE for you and a compiler for you. All the course material you need is right there. And then if you prefer to have your ebook, that's not a problem. You can purchase the ebook. It won't have the interactive IDE or the compiler, but all the same information is there. And then it's beginner friendly. And then you also have the Python one, which is also beginner friendly. And then if you prefer to have more one-on-one courses or coaching tutorial sessions or custom made on your behalf, you can go to jamboservices.com, or if you want an application made in PHP, Python, or any other language like Java, Rust, or HTML5, or for any of the major platforms, we can do that for you. Or if you just simply want a website, or your website is hacked, you're migrating, need DNS help, anything to do with Linux, any open source tools or software applications, I can help with that. I use Linux as my primary operating system, so I'm an expert. I've been doing it for over 20 years. Thank you.